This is Umar Ahmed for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. Wrapped up like a 45-minute interview here with Ben Davison, so that's going to be out in a few days. Go and check that out. He goes on a bit of a rant at the end, but a passionate rant, a good rant, if you can call it that. Ben, just doing this video just to get your take and opinions on a couple of things. So there's not much going on in boxing at the moment, but a hot topic at the moment, of course, is Tyson Fury and Fury-Whyte. WBC said the splits for that would be 80-20. Eddie Hearn's also made some comments today on TalkSport, which we'll come on to a second. But just firstly, your take on that 80-20 split. What do you think about that?
I don't really know. I mean, the WBC must have their reasons for coming out with that split. So I don't know the details. I've not followed it too much. I spoke to Tyson the other day. But as I say, the WBC must have their reasons for why they come with that split. I've just not followed it to fully understand why. So, yeah.
How is it? You said you spoke to him the other day.
Yeah, I spoke. What do you mean, how was it?
No, how is he? I said.
Oh, yeah, he's good, yeah. Just a little bit of a catch-up. Made me laugh, going over a few memories. Speaking about the trilogy fight, actually, as well. So, yeah, just a general catch-up, really.
Seems to be going running a lot with Joseph Barker. They're just going on runs constantly.
He loves his running. He loves his running. But something, and this is, you're learning all the time. One of the things, problems was before, after the Tom Schwartz fight, he burnt the candle at every end. You know, he'd lost the weight, was feeling good, was on top of his boxing, wanted to train all the time for his mental health. But after the fight, it'd been so long since he'd socialised properly, wanted to socialise, you know, wanted to be at home and be a dad and do the family thing as well. And he just burnt the candle at every end. He was burnt out going into that boiling fight, obviously. Which showed, obviously, the plan was actually at that time, I think I said this before, plan was to bring him in like 18, 9 something, and then the week of the fight, his weight dropped to, I think he actually even went under 18 stone at one point, maybe. But he knows now, you know, like, he'll do all this running, but he'll know, okay, I'm not going to overdo it, and if I'm going to do my runs in the morning, I'll do a little bit less in the evening, or I won't do too much of something. I'm aware of my body. I know that I need to not overdo it. So you learn all the time, so that's good.
If it isn't Fury-Whyte, Bob Arum mentioned two names. He said Robert Helenius or Andy Ruiz. What do you think about them fights? Some people didn't mind the fights, some people criticised them. What do you think about them?
Andy Ruiz, obviously it's a good fight. Robert Helenius come off a couple of good wins with Kawanaki and that. I don't see anything wrong with him if it's like it's almost like he needs to keep active. This is not saying it's nonsense like what's going on with Whyte and WBC and that, but you know, it sounds like it's a bit of a messy situation. Tyson can't afford to have months out of the ring again, so he needs to be active, and there's two great names, you know, keeping active. So don't see nothing wrong with that.
Well, yeah, Eddie Hearn has said that they're going to appeal that decision from the WBC in terms of the 80-20 split in arbitration. So you're right, Tyson's goal, both Frank and Bob have said this, that it's got to be March. He wants to box in March, so they're not going to wait around for anyone, essentially. No,
definitely. I think his plan was to actually box in February, so already he's being pushed back a month. But, yeah, it's saying there about they're going to appeal and that. It just seems like a bit of a messy situation. Tyson's got to keep active.
Most definitely. Billy Joe Saunders, have you spoke to him recently as well?
Yeah, bits and bobs. Spoke to him, of course. I know he was giving Leo some stick earlier on today, so yeah. But I'm just messing about it.
Do you reckon he'll come back? Just looking at it as a fan, purely. I'm not saying you're announcing anything on Billy Joe's behalf.
I've always thought, this is just me personally, I've always thought that Billy Joe will retire and he'll probably have a year out the ring, 2 years out the ring, and then he'll think, you know, I miss it because it's what he's done his whole life. He's not said that he's retiring. You know, obviously, I know that when he had the surgery and that, I think he was told he can't do anything until December. I think it was with the eye socket and that. So it's January now. So whether he'll start training now and that, I don't know. Do I think he'll box again? I don't know. Would I like to see him box again? Of course.
Do you think he can still compete at that elite level? Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think he can be better than what he was in that Canelo fight.
Well, he still competed very well in that fight.
Well, and that's what I mean. That's a bit of a statement, to be honest. You know, I think that box well, but I know that he'll feel that he can still be better than that. And you know, it's one of them situations. There's no point saying rematch because of the situation there is and what Canelo's done since then. And Billy Joe's been inactive, but I'd love for, if he was to box again, I'd love for him to get an opportunity to have that fight again. And I believe that he can, you know, step it up a few more gears.
Do you think he'd need a warm-up fight if he was to come back?
Of course, yeah. He'll need a couple of tune-up fights. I mean, I'm not saying anything, but I think he's put a little bit of beef on. So, but usually after something like that, especially with the guy, you know, we saw Kell Brook go back in with Errol Spence after Golovkin, then had further damage. So, yeah, I think the right thing is, if we're talking hypothetically, if he's boxing again, that you have a tune-up or two, and see where you're at.
Of course, Chris Eubank Jr. has got his fight coming up with Liam Williams. Kalle Sauerland's kind of baiting Billy Joe out of retirement. He's saying that if Eubanks is successful in that fight, there's a massive pay-per-view slot on Sky with Eubank and Saunders, Eubank, however you want to say it.
Yeah, massive fight. It's obviously Saunders Eubank, isn't it? I mean, Billy Joe's a two-weight world champion, but
Kalle will push for a Eubank Saunders, won't he? But
it don't really matter, does it? But I mean, the reality is, there's no bones about it. Who's achieved more and who's the main man in that fight? Wasn't there talk of? I think there was something about Billy Joe and Canelo was the fight that brought the most subscribers into DAZN in the UK.
Yeah, Eddie said that was the one that's done best business in terms of UK generated subscribers. I'm sure it did amazing in America and globally as well, but I think that is the fight that he said brought the most subscribers in the UK to DAZN, Canelo Saunders.
What they was able to sell, what the gate would have been for that fight, you know. Billy Joe's the attraction there in that fight, but anyway. All
right, well, listen, Ben, appreciate an over hour of your time today. As I said, go and check the other interview that we've done on his own whole stable, about 45 minutes long. As I said in that interview, wish you the best of luck for 2022 with all your fighters, and we'll speak soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you.